All right, everybody, welcome back to another night of racing here at the SCSRA Broadcasting YouTube channel. Tonight, we are here with the Dev Sports Cards NextGen series for the SCSRA for 88 laps here at Talladega Motor Speedway. Right now, we're under qualifying. Josh Hall is our current leader with the 53.327. But as always, let's talk about where we are standing with points currently. As we saw before, or we saw last night, Devin Butchino won at Talladega in the Truck Series, automatically advancing to the round of 8. Here in the Next Gen Series, he already has his win under the belt. So as we talked to him last night, he's just here to help his teammates here, Joseph Wright, Eddie Morris, and Dave Wright. Unfortunately, Dave Wright has not been here yet. He has been out on work or play or something in Boston, so he may not be able to make it tonight. Doesn't look like he's going to yet. Eddie Morris, 15 points behind in second place. Travis Bennett in third place. Joseph Wright in fourth place. Dalton Gibson in fifth place with 1,044 points. Travis Burton with 1,042 points. Josh Hall with 1,038. Carlton Charles in eighth place. Under the bubble, Ethan Horst, Dave Wright, Sharn Hill, and Trey Spears. Tonight, it is a must-win scenario for Trey Spears and Sharn Hill. Sharn Hill has not logged in yet, so he may not be making tonight's race either. So it is a must-win for Trey Spears to be able to get locked into the round of 8. A lot of these drivers are going to be safe tonight, but only time will tell. Time will tell to see what happens. Let's head out to the track and see who's out there. Right now, we have Brad Young out on track. Brad Young just ran a 53.457. His previous lap, 53.403, was his fastest lap. That's going to bring him home in 7th place. We got Dalton Gibson out on track. This will be his second and final lap currently. Currently, he has a 53.394. Just ran a 53.453, so his first lap's the one that's going to count here. Let's head to Trey Spears. Going to close out his first lap here in just a moment. Charles Balance also out on track right now. Charles Balance going to finish his first lap here momentarily. Sticking to that high line currently to get everything warmed up and get as much speed as possible. And then he'll head down to the bottom line. First lap for Charles Balance. 53.807. Again, he was running that high line the entire time, so it's going to be a little bit slower. Trey Spears closing out his first lap here. And runs a 53.383, puts him in 5th place. Looks like that's going to finish out his qualifying order, or his qualifying time here. Trey Spears up in 5th place. Charles Balance still out on track. It's the last one we have to finish qualifying, but Josh Hall is our current pole sitter with the 53.327. And Charles Bounce going to finish out his second lap here with the 53.473. This is still going to put him in last place tonight, 0.146 behind the leader. The gap between first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, sixth, seventh, I guess the first front half of the field from first to 8th place is less than 1/10 of a second. Again, Josh ran a 53.327. and Bragg Young 76 hundredths behind him with a 53.403. So very close race. They always are, especially here at Talladega. Let's see if we can pull Josh down real quick. Hey, Josh, this is David up in the booth. You got me?
Got you loud and clear.
Hey, bud, everyone's wrapped up qualifying, and here you are sitting on pole with the 53.327. I think the only way that you would have been beaten is if Dave Wright was here. Because he's the only one that ever qualifies on pole here. So,
yeah, I got a little bit of advice last night, and I figured I'd run with it today.
Man, it seemed to have worked out. PM me that advice for next season, maybe. I don't know if I'll be broadcasting, but you know that's next season's problem. Congratulations on your pole. What's the plan for tonight?
Stay clean. You know, me and the sister team, if you will. Since I'm all by myself, we're going to try to work together. We're going to see what we can do, and hopefully just stay clean, be here at the end, have a podium finish, and move on to the next round.
Hey, speaking of sister team, are you going to join them in race comms tonight?
I am not able to because I'm not able to see that room, so that is a negative.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. All right, well, hopefully you get some teammates up there or someone to help you out, and best of luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we are gonna wrap up here. We are heading out to the track. Again, Josh Hall is our pole sitter. Second place, Joe Wright, who also came in third place last night for the truck race. Charles Balance in third place. Nope. Here we go. Here's the right order. Josh Hall, Travis Bennett, Ryan Gomes, Eddie Morris, Trey Spears, top 5. Joe Wright, Dalton Gibson, Brad Young, Devin Butchino, Carlton Charles round out your top 10. Ethan Horse, Adam St. John, and Charles Balance will be rounding out your field tonight. Let's head down to the cars as they roll off here. And while they are doing that, we will be right back. As you can see, as at the top right-hand corner, the start lights are on. Pace car is going to be rolling off here. We've got 2.5 miles till this race starts. Actually, 2.66 miles until this race starts tonight. Again, Josh Hall is going to be your leader tonight, followed by Travis Bennett on the outside of row number 1. They will get the green flag. They will have to wait till the green flag to start. For all subsequent restarts of this race, it'll be on leader's discretion in the Geico restart zone. We have seen it at this track, unfortunately, where it has confused a couple people because there is some Geico signs on the outside wall coming into the tri-oval, which has messed a couple people up in the past, thinking that's the restart zone. So if any of the drivers are out there watching, just pay attention to that. Looking forward to tonight's race. We got 88 laps. Last night's race was extremely clean. Brought the Neon drivers home 1, 2, and 3. With some pitch strategy, they were able to get that called perfectly, and able to come home 1, 2, and 3 last night with Devin Butchino winning the race. So excited to see what these guys do tonight. And everyone looks to be in their own teams tonight. The only one that's kind of on his own right now is Travis Bennett, unfortunately. So without him having any help, we'll see how tonight goes. Hear the cars rumbling by as they head through turns 3 and 4. Pace car's fixing to make the hard left-hand turn off the racing surface for these 13 drivers to take it on. This is the final race of the round of 12. Devin Butchino locked into the round of 8, just here to support his teammates tonight, as you heard him say in chat yesterday. Let's head to our starter cam here. And we're off. Josh Hall with a great start. Ryan Gomes right behind him, pushing him into turn 1. Eddie Morris to the outside with his teammate Joe Wright right behind him, pushing Travis Bennett into turn number 1. Travis Bennett decides to take the inside line, but it's perfect where Eddie and Joe want him to be, out of their way. They're going to get to the front of this field. Every point counts at this point. They're going to look to get those points, those laps led, so they can at least get a point for that, to make sure they lock themselves into the round of 8 that's coming up next week. We're starting off the round of 8 next week with Bristol Motor Speedway. This should be an interesting race. As we heard Devin say last night, some drivers are good at it, some of them not as much. See if we can get this cleaned up a little bit. It's kind of jumpy out here. Eddie Morris got his lap led and headed to the back of the field. I can imagine Joe Wright's going to do a lot of the same thing. There we go, that's better. All right, that seems to be a lot better now. All right, perfect. We've got everything going up and running. Everything's working perfectly. Major incident here. We just saw it between Charles Balance back here in the middle of the pack here. Let's take a look and rewind and see what happened. Charles Balance, Carlton Charles, Travis Bennett, Trey Spears, Ryan Gomes, Adam St. John's, Ethan Horst, all involved in this incident. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Charles Balance just goes low for some reason here and taps the outside of Travis Bennett, just knocks him around. Then Charles Balance into the wall. Let's go on board with Travis Bennett. Completely sideswiped, no chance from him. This brings out 3 meatball flags. Ryan Gomes, Adam St. John, and Carlton Charles. Let's take a look from Ryan Gomes' perspective and see what happened here. Contact there probably broke the swing arm or something on that car, which caused him to get that meatball flag, unfortunately. Head back up to our leader, Josh Hall. They're going to pit now. Interesting strategy. Everyone pitting now. They're going to top up on fuel. The stage is going to be at the end of lap 36. So will they have enough fuel here after they pit to be able to save to get them back to, or get them to the end of the stage? That is the question that's on my mind. It should be on everyone's mind. Josh Hall takes it out on first. Joe Wright in second. Quick fuel stops for everybody, except for the guys that have meatball flags currently. Adam St. John taking his fast repair. Carlton Charles also having to take his fast repair. Ryan Gomes on pit road, going to try to get as much of this fixed as possible. He didn't have, it looked like he may not have had a lot of damage. Hopefully he can get out of here pretty quick. Fix everything. If not, pit again and get the rest of it fixed. You don't want to use your fast repair this early in the race. Anything could happen. Charles Balance also used his fast repair. That was where the incident started. Ryan Gomes still on pit road, trying to get as much fixed as he can. Let's see if he goes a lap down. Even if he does go a lap down, he can get it back at the stage if he stays the only car a lap down. So we'll have to see what happens there. Head back to our leader here. Pace lights are still on the pace car. Check in with our chat teams. We got SGC Cyber. Let's go, Dad. Chucky. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Now, as always, guys, if you can do us a favor, like, subscribe, do all the fun things, help support the channel here. We do appreciate all of your support. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this, that's for sure. Pace lights are out on the car, on the pace car here. We are fixing to go green. They are through laps, or through turns 1 and 2. Ryan Gomes does go a lap down here, but hopefully he got all of his damage fixed so he can just latch onto the back of this field and ride around. His goal has to be at this point, just stay out on track, stay the only car a lap down. When the stage does come, or the next incident, there could be another accident, who knows. When the next stage does come, he'll get that wave around and get back on the lead lap. That would be my goal anyways. Pace car going through 3 and 4 right now. And again, that pace car is going to make that hard left-hand turn off the racing surface. The drivers will wait to get to the second Geico signs on the right-hand side of the wall here. Once they get to that zone, it's up to the leader's discretion or the green flag. You'll see the cars come in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Great jump by Josh Hall. However, on his outside, Eddie Morris and Joe Wright. Eddie Morris and Joe Wright, two of the most dangerous guys on track when it comes to any super speedway racing. These guys have been racing together for a long time. I can tell you the goal right now is just to survive Joe Wright has his lap led, but they're choosing to stay out front. Devin Butchno trying to get up towards the front to his teammates. If these guys link up together, we saw last night they went out to a 9-second lead. These cars are a little bit different than the trucks run, but those Team Neon drivers were able to get out to a 9-second lead last night. So I imagine that's part of the plan tonight. We've got another car up in the wall. Trey Spears takes out, oh my gosh. Takes out half the field. Never what you want to see at a race like this. That may have taken out everybody. Eddie Morris had to tow. Ethan Horst, Charles Balance, Devin Butchno, Josh Hall, Eddie Morris, all with meatball flags. 2 drivers had to tow currently. Number 3 of Trey Spears. And the number 8 car of Eddie Morris currently on pit road. While getting a tow back anyways. Let's take a look and see what happened. Let's go to Trey Spears here. Man, let's go to Josh Hall. Looks like Josh Hall just gets Trey's bumper, some wiggling there, and then Devin Butchno makes contact with Josh Hall. Everyone just gets taken out. Let's go on to Eddie's car here. Eddie just gets right hooked into the wall. You can see that back left tire. Not okay. Let's go on board with Eddie with this hard contact. You can see Eddie trying to do anything and it's just not working. So Joe Wright, your current leader of the race. Everyone else still catching up to him. A lot of drivers are going to be damaged this time by. Ryan Gomes now not even able to take advantage of getting that lucky dog because he was involved in that incident. He wasn't involved, actually, so... Interesting, he should have... That's interesting. I don't know. Okay. It just updated. The score, this timing and scoring card just updated. Ryan Gomes back on the lead lap, running in 10th place currently. Trey Spears, Charles Balance, Eddie Morris, all still on pit road. Charles Balance, unfortunately, has already used his fast repair. Does not have that to his advantage right now. Joe Wright down pit lane. Devin Butchno, his teammate, right behind him down pit lane as well. Puts Dalton Gibson in the lead currently. These guys are going to top off on fuel. No need for tires or anything unless they were involved in that incident and possibly needed them. But Joe Wright back off pit road. Trey Spears, Charles Balance, I'm sorry, and Eddie Morris still on pit road. Eddie Morris is now going to be 3 laps down currently. Now, even as it sits, Eddie Morris, when we're looking at the points here, we can take a look at them again real quick. Even as it sits, Eddie Morris is still 25 laps ahead of second place. Or I'm sorry, of 8th place at that cutoff line. So with only 13 drivers involved, there's only a 13-point spread. Maximum of 23 points, I believe, with all the bonus points that would be eligible. So that being said, he may be safe. Pace cars off on that left-hand turn, or that left-hand turn off the track. Eddie Morris and Trey Spears back out on track. Dalton Gibson opts for the top line. We are green flag racing. He's going to drop down to the bottom line here in front of Travis Bennett. My favorite camera, and I forgot to get to it. Current leader, Dalton Gibson, Travis Bennett, Ethan Horst, Brad Young, Adam St. John are top 5. Joe Wright, Devin Butchno in that back decide to take it too wide. They're going to try to get that top line working here. Go to Travis Bennett here. We can see here, Ryan Gomes has decided to go with the Neon drivers to get back up towards the front. In order to make this work, they're going to have to get bumper to bumper. Now, the side draft on these cars is extremely effective. If you get too close to the outside of that other car, it's almost like a parachute getting deployed. You can see Joe Wright getting close in the middle of that corner, try to break up that line, but then straight up to the wall off the corner. You can see the run that this causes that outside line to get. Doesn't want to leave his teammate. Ryan Gomes also cleared. They both dropped down, or all 3 of them dropped down to the inside line. Travis Bennett on that top line with the number 7 car of Carlton Charles, who has gone, who is up to 7th place now. But you can see as these drivers get close to each other, you can see that line break up. It's very, very easy to pull a car off the other line. You can see Travis Bennett taking advantage of that. What he's doing is, in side drafting, is he's taking that air that's coming off the front of that car and dumping it right onto the rear spoiler of the car below them. When they do that, it's literally almost like putting a parachute out on that car. You see Ryan Gomes now so far back off of Devin Butchno, not even able to close that gap. But you don't want to sit there going down the straightaway. You want to do it in the corner, then hop up to the wall coming off the corner, just like we saw Joe Wright do. Charles Balance is still on pit road. He may be out for the race. Eddie Morris, Trey Spears both had to use their fast repairs. Only half the field was at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got another incident between Devin Butchno and Ryan Gomes. Caution flag is out. Ryan Gomes with another meatball flag. He does not have a fast repair. We're going to see what happens here. He's not able to make it. Let's take a look and see what happened. Looks like a push from the 01 car. The 55 gets turned down into Devin and unfortunately causes a huge wreck. Ryan Gomes having to tow back to pit road. He's going to go some laps down again. Let's see if we can go take a look at this from Ryan Gomes' perspective again. Looks like it was just a draft in the corner. Travis Bennett did bump him, just got loose off the corner or in the corner. Tried to make another push effort at it, just didn't work, unfortunately. While Ryan Gomes is down on pit road, let's actually see if we can pull him down here real quick. Ryan Gomes, this is David up in the booth. You got me?
David, I got you.
Bud, I just want to check in with you, make sure you're still alive after that one.
Little shook up.
Yeah.
But we're still alive.
I imagine. Did you since you're out of the car or on pit road currently, did you have a chance to take a look at that? Can you kind of walk us through what happened from your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was squeezing Dev a little bit on the bottom, so I kind of moved up and just he was a little too close. It was just a racing deal. I mean, I moved back down and he was there still up my keister, and that's what happens here, I guess, when you push in the corners.
I understand, man. It's unfortunate. It's hard to push with these cars in the corner. They were more stable, and then there was another update, and they've become a little more unstable as we go.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's Bennett's fault. It's as much my fault as his fault there too. So, 13 cars. We need to do a little bit better than this right now.
Yeah, absolutely understand. How much damage do you have? You're going to be able to make it back out tonight?
Yeah, we'll see. I might be able to come back out and try to push my teammates around. I know we got to trade a win to get them in, and Josh needs some points. So that's why I'm here. I guess if we're 10, 15, 20 laps down, we're going to try to help those boys.
Sounds good, Ryan. Well, thanks for taking the time for me with me, sir. You have a good rest of your night. Hopefully you're able to help your teammates out up there.
Thanks, Hartney.
Yep. That was Ryan Gomes involved in that last incident. Unfortunately, you heard from him. He's going to be pretty down and out after the damage is fixed with this car. So hopefully he will be able to get back out there pretty shortly. Folks, while I am waiting here, give me just a second. I will be right back. All right, folks, we are back. Pace car lights are off on the pace car. We'll be heading to our third green flag. We are lap 18 of 88 currently. This keeps up, we're going to be here all night. Again, stage break is at the end of lap 35, coming to lap 36. So we've got still 20 laps until that. Guaranteed these drivers can make it now on fuel. Devin Butchino back out on track. Did have to use his fast repair as well. So looking at it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers that have not used their fast repair yet. Our drivers are going to come into frame here and just momentarily at the top left-hand or top right-hand corner of your screen. Again, we are waiting for the second Geico restart zone that you see on the left-hand side of the track. Our drivers are off. Joe Wright currently in the lead. Carlton Charles right behind him. Travis Bennett on the outside line with Brad Young pushing him down the backstretch. Eddie Morris back on the lead lap. We are going 3 wide here. Devin Butchino and Eddie Morris up on that outside line here. Trying to make the third line work. Didn't quite get enough momentum there. I'm sure they're trying to probably get up to their teammate. Again, these guys work really well together. Charles Balance also back out on track. You see him a little bit farther back in the field here. Let's head back here to Devin Butchino. We've got some 2 wide racing going on back here. 2 guys can make it work if you use the parachuting side drafting effect well. But Travis Bennett does latch onto the Neon guys on that top line. They are going to be able to make this work. If they get 3 cars in a row, it's over. Eddie's very good at pushing people to wins. Not only that, but pushing people back up to the front. You can see him glued to Devin's bumper, even able to pull away from Travis Bennett a little bit on that outside line. A little bit squirrely underneath him between the number 15 car and Trey Spears. That's Ethan Horst. Eddie probably got a little too hot there, had to bail out from pushing Devin. Almost some contact there between Ethan Horst and Trey Spears. Everyone gets kind of jumbled around. Dalton Gibson takes an advantage of that, gets around the number 15 of Ethan Horst. Everyone falls back in line. Joe Wright, still our leader in this race, has led 13 of the 21 laps so far. Again, our stage is going to be at the end of lap 35, so we still have a little bit of time. 14 laps or so for these guys to kind of figure out what they're doing. Carlton Charles currently in second, Josh Hall in third, Brad Young in fourth for now. But Dalton Gibson is making a charge on that outside line with Devin Butchino and Eddie Morris and Travis Bennett pushing, getting them up there. The number 52 of Adam St. John has kind of fallen off pace here. He's been involved in a few incidents already. Nothing that he caused, but unfortunately just collateral damage. Charles Balance also on track, but he's currently 7 laps down. We have two very definitive lines now. Everyone's staying clean, coming through these corners, giving each other a little more space than normal. At this point, I'm figuring these guys just want to get closer to the stage before we do anything else. Now in this league, if you're within 5 laps of the stage and the caution does come out, that does count as the stage break. So after lap 31, if there's a caution, or after lap 30, if there's a caution, we will call that as stage. Now I imagine here on this outside line, the Neon teammates, Devin Butchino and Eddie Morris, exactly what I was expecting to happen. Drop down in front of Joseph Wright. There was enough of a gap there for Travis Bennett to make that move as well with them. This gets the Neon team pretty much together now. Just Travis Bennett in between them. This top line kind of falling away here without those two Neon drivers up there. That's Dalton Gibson, Trey Spears, and the 81 of Josh Hall. Eddie Morris, our current leader. Devin Butchino is a lap down. These guys don't care. They're going to make it work. The point of Devin being up front now is if there's an incident behind him, he still gets his lap back, even if he's involved in it, or even if there's a 0x. Now, a 0x in iRacing will disqualify you from getting the lucky dog position. So if you're in front of the pack, you're still going to get your lap back. Take a look at chat land. Robbie Gibson hanging there, number 17. He'll be back. Dalton Gibson and that group will be back up towards the front. We still have quite a long race left. Michael Lawrence, if you guys are still racing when I get off, I might jump in and have a chance, though. It's entirely possible, sir, at this rate. Everyone kind of single file, but you can see that single file isn't very straight. Kind of looks a little more like a worm all the way down. Now, you can see with Eddie... Let's go on board with Eddie for a second. You can see with Eddie, he does bring the right-hand side of the car out from behind Devin Butchino every once in a while. The intake for cooling both the water and oil coolers is on the right-hand side of these vehicles, on the nose. So he's given a little bit of gap between him and Devin right now. This allows the car to cool off as well. But when he's pushing as hard as he can, sometimes you'll see him burp or just get that right front out next to Devin to get those coolers as much air as possible. Decent sized gap between Eddie Morris and Travis Bennett currently. That third car is really going to determine how far or how fast you can go. Josh Hall on the outside of the number 15 car of Ethan Horst. Not sure what happened to get him to the outside, but he just wants the field to get by him so he can fall back in line. Here a little bit of bumping and grinding. Let's head back up to our leader, Eddie Morris. Still behind his teammate, Devin Butchino, saving fuel. Fuel I don't think is going to be an issue right now, but definitely trying to stay in front of this field so he can get his lap back. Catching up to the number 41 car of Charles Balance. He does stay to the outside of the field so they can pass him cleanly. We do have some challenge starting back here with Josh Hall. Trying to get back up towards the front. We have 6 laps left until our stage. So they're going to try to make their way back up front to get as many points as possible. A stage win doesn't really count towards anything in championship standings except for points. And points always matter. You can see with the way that Eddie and Devin are working together, they're able to pull out a gap between themselves and Travis Bennett. Travis Bennett needs help from Joe Wright to get there, but Joe Wright, being these guys' teammate up front, I'm not sure how much he's willing to help, which does give the outside line a good run. Trey Spears, Dalton Gibson, Ethan Horst, Josh Hall does give them a good run on that outside line. Joe Wright's not going to have a choice but to help Travis Bennett here get to that group so they stay in the lead. Devin has got to stay in front of this group to make sure that a 0X doesn't disqualify him when the stage caution does come out. Head back up to our leaders. Devin Butchino, Devin not in the lead, but leading the pack. Eddie Morris is currently second, third place now behind Ethan Horst. Not Ethan Horst, I'm sorry, Trey Spears. No, Trey Spears actually is some laps down as well. So the race is between both the second cars in line here, Ethan Horst and Eddie Morris. But again, with how well these Neon drivers work together, that they're going to be hard to beat down there. Now, Travis Bennett gets clear here and hops up to the outside. I can guarantee you that's what Neon wants to happen, so that they can get their drivers all together again. They're able to maintain a good pace, that outside, fight off the outside run being brought by Trey Spears, Ethan Horst, Dalton Gibson, and Josh Hall. You can see that gap between Joe Wright and Travis Bennett has closed. We've got 4 laps until our stage here. Trey Spears not wanting to leave the guys up there, but they just broke it up. 17 makes contact with the number 15. Caution does not come out, stays green. That's going to kill the outside run. As long as they can keep Trey Spears on the outside, which Joe Wright's able to close that gap to Travis Bennett in a heartbeat, gets in front of the number 7 car, who then goes to his outside. Josh Hall has to pick which line he wants to go with. He's going to go with his teammate of Trey Spears. Head back to our leader, Eddie Morris. Right now, second place is going to be Travis Bennett. Third place, Joseph Wright. But Devin Butchino needs to stay right where he is to make sure that he gets his lap back. We've got 1 lap to go. Sorry, we've got 2 laps to go until the stage caution comes out. Dalton Gibson now making that challenge on that outside line. Trey Spears trying to get around Joseph Wright. Only way you're going to make that work is if you get on the side of him, pull him off of Travis Bennett. Trey Spears makes a hard left-hand turn down onto the bottom line in front of Josh Hall. Almost makes contact. I'm sure that Josh Hall was anticipating that being his teammate, but that was still a dangerous move. Dalton Gibson in the number 7 car. I'm sorry, Carlton Charles in the number 7 car. Keep getting those two confused, I apologize. Is with Brad Young on the top line, trying to make this work here. Joseph Wright not wanting to get Travis Bennett any kind of run on his teammates. Travis Bennett goes to the outside, almost cuts off Joe Wright's nose. I know they're not going to do that for very much longer. We're going to come down to our stage caution here. Eddie Morris is going to take home your stage win unless Travis Bennett gets a run here. Not going to be enough. Caution is out. Great push from Travis Bennett to try to take home second place. Joe Wright, third place. Eddie Morris is going to take home our first place here for the stage caution. Devin Butchno will get his lap back for being in front of the group. When that pace car comes out, he should go right around it. In theory, anyways, that's the idea. Will it actually happen that way? That's still questionable. Now, in the SCSRA, the stage cautions come out about 2 seconds after the leader crosses the line. So the field has to go all the way back around to catch the pace car. You can see Eddie Morris checking up for the pace car, Travis Bennett. And as I said before, Devin Butchno is going to go around the pace car to catch the field. We will have to see how everything ends up after that caution, after this caution break. Once we get everyone on pit road and back out on track, then we will definitely bring our leader, our winner of the stage, Eddie Morris, up here. And we've still got 50 laps to go on this. Our leaders are currently all on pit road. Does Devin go around one more time? I don't think he does. I think he goes in pit road right now. He is back on the lead lap. You can see him. Looks like he's holding up for the number 52 car to pass him before they get down to pit road. So he doesn't get a black flag for passing under yellow. Here comes Adam St. John in. There goes Josh Hall. Joseph Wright takes over lead again. Eddie Morris had a little bit longer of a pit stop. Same thing with Travis Bennett. Joe Wright may have only taken right side tires or just fuel. Just depends. A lot of times on super speedway races, you may not even need fuel, or may not even need tires, I should say. Let's get our winner of the stage down here, Eddie Morris. Eddie, this is David up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, buddy, what's up?
Hey, man, don't want to take up too much of your time. I know strategy is being talked about, how the rest of this race is going to go, but congratulations on the stage win. How are you guys able to hold off Travis Bennett there?
We just got her locked up, and we were ready to go, and we went for it.
Well, it seemed to have worked out for you guys. Neon Racing coming home first and third there. Devin Butchno able to get back up on the lead lap. You guys are in a good position to get back together like we saw last night. So I wanted to wish you guys the best of luck, and congratulations again on the win.
Appreciate it, brother.
That was our winner, Eddie Morris. Got him back up to his room. Real quick, I know he was heading down to pit road, so I didn't want to take up too much of his time, but get him in and off pit road. A couple more drivers took fuel only here. Joseph Wright, a little bit longer of a pit stop that time. 14.4 seconds, so must have taken some tires or something that time. You can hear him dropping off or hear him turning the engines off while heading back up to the field. A lot of drivers will do this when it comes down to fuel mileage. Current leader Travis Bennett. Pace lights are out on the pace car. Brad Young is in a bad position here because he's going to be all by himself on that top line unless anybody jumps up with him right at the start of this race, or start of this second stage. We've got 50 laps remaining right now, 49 as we cross the line. We've got quite a lot of time left. We are down to a one-stop race. If we keep it green, they'll have to pit in about 15 to 20 laps, and then they'll be able to make it the rest of the race. Cars entering the top right-hand corner of your frame here. Travis Bennett gets a great jump on the outside. Again, Brad Young is going to be in a bad position here. You can see him coming down here. Brad Young able to make that hole or that gap work there. Able to get down into under... Able to get down right under in front of Adam St. John here. Eddie Morris hops up to that top line. Heading back towards the front. You can see Eddie Morris has his teammates with him. Devin Butchino, Joe Wright. They're all on the lead lap now, able to get back together. And this is where it's going to get interesting for these folks, because they are going to take the lead more than likely with how well this team gels together. We've got a long rest of the race. You'll probably see them switch out every once in a while. Joe Wright cleared, comes down first. The rest of his team comes down in front of him. Now that we have the stage finished, this is where a little bit of strategy is going to come. Take a look at these guys back here. A little bit of strategy is going to get involved here when it comes to the fuel stops. Ethan Horst and Ryan Gomes still on pit road. And you can see now there's nobody, because Travis Bennett doesn't have anybody to work with. Brad Young's not on his bumper. Trackside Motorsports up on that top line with Trey Spears, Trey Spears, Josh Hall, and Carlton Charles. Sorry, that was the number 7 car. Oh yeah, Carlton Charles was up on that top line working with Trey Spears and Josh Hall. And he gets up with Brad Young, who is on the same team behind Travis Bennett, going to try to close this gap to the front pack. But in order to do that, you've got to get much closer than that. It's so easy to lose the draft here. Travis Bennett was able to get back up to Joe Wright and able to pull him off that lead group, which significantly slowed down that entire front line. Joe Wright's going to have to check back up when he gets back up to Devin. That's what that side draft does. It pushes that air off the front of the car to your right and pushes the air right onto your rear spoiler. It's legitimately like putting a parachute out. It's crazy. Travis Bennett left up on the top side by himself. Again, he's got no teammates tonight. So he's just going to have to wait for the field to pass him, get in line, get the draft, and just kind of ride everything out. Eddie Morris, still our race leader. Devin Butchno behind him. Joe Wright in third place. We've got 44 laps of this race completed. We are halfway through. I imagine what will happen is these neon drivers, and it could be, they could change it up, kind of keep everyone guessing a little bit, but they could end up just taking a pit or going to pits as soon as that fuel window opens. But it's going to be the fuel window for the lead car, not the cars behind him. The lead car is using the most amount of fuel right now. The one creating the bubble or creating the disturbance in air. $198 miles an hour going into turn 3. Our drivers are taking it single file right now. Ethan Horse has made it back out on track. Charles Balance is on track. Dalton Gibson back out on track, and Adam St. John still only a lap down currently. Our driver's currently single file. We've got 8 cars on the lead lap right now. That's this group that we're watching here. Eddie Morris, Devin Butchno, Joe Wright, Brad Young, Trey Spears, Carlton Charles, Josh Hall, and Travis Bennett. Adam St. John looks like he's also on the lead lap. Okay, he's on the lead lap as well as same with Dalton Gibson. Just severely off pace. They're running about 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour slower than this lead pack here. This lead group coming up to the number 41 of Charles Balance. You see Charles Balance is just on the outside, not wanting to get in anybody's way. Stays to the outside as the leaders fly by him. Our lead group able to pull out a little bit of a gap between Brad Young and Joseph Wright. But that gap's now closing. Our lead car is still just driving in a single line here. We've got 38 laps left. I imagine with about 30 laps to go, we're going to start seeing some pit stops. It's all going to be who can manage those correctly, getting on and off pit road. Towards the back of the field here, we've got some double wide racing here. The number 7 car of Carlton Charles, getting real close to the 81 of Josh Hall. Travis Bennett on that outside line as well, trying to make this work. The number 7 car getting real close to Josh Hall, which is activating that parachute. You can see him got pulled right off that field. He's able to close that gap now a little bit. Able to secure that gap to Trey Spears. They're going around the number 15 car of Ethan Horst right now. Very respectful, stays up on the top line to make sure the field can get by him. However, they're going so much faster than him, probably not able to make or get that draft back. Travis Bennett and Carlton Charles making a charge on the outside. You can see that gap getting pulled between Trey Spears and Josh Hall. The way to combat this for Josh Hall is to get right on Trey Spears' bumper and push him back up. They've got to stay away from each other. Travis Bennett falls back in line behind Josh Hall. Everyone falls back in line here. Head back up to our leaders here. This cost them about a second worth, seconds in time between those two groups trying to battle it out for that position. Cost that second group a second. Again, with Team Neon up here running 1, 2, and 3 again. They're able to make this gap even bigger. They're now up to 1.4 seconds between 5th place and 4th place Brad Young. Carlton Charles has lost the draft. He's running about 3 to 4 miles an hour slower than this group in front of him, and that's making all the difference in the world. Even in the corners, he's now a second behind Travis Bennett and has lost the draft entirely. Travis Bennett, Josh Hall, Trey Spears trying to close this gap to the cars in front of them. It's now at 1.8 seconds between these guys up front. With how well these guys are working together up here with Brad Young included, this gap's going to keep getting bigger. Now, made some contact between Travis Bennett and Josh Hall. Travis goes to the wall. This is going to separate this group even more. And that gap just skyrocketed. We were at 1.8 seconds. We're now at 3 seconds. They've got to get back together if there's any hopes of this working. Josh Hall has picked up the number 17 car of Dalton Gibson, who is currently a lap down. But Dalton Gibson's got to get on Josh's bumper if they're going to try to get back to Travis Bennett and Trey Spears. It's a 1.2 second gap between Josh and Travis Bennett right now. Travis Bennett is right on Trey Spears' bumper, but we're now to a 5-second gap. Our leaders just pulling away from the field right now. I'm sure everyone wants to see a caution. Well, the rear guys all want to see a caution. These top four definitely do not. Do we see a repeat of last night where Neon takes it 1-2-3? This lead group getting the draft from the number 52 car. He's going to stay right where he is. The lead group is going to go around him like he's sitting still. They are running about 25 miles or 15 miles an hour faster. They hop back down that bottom lane. Let's see if Adam St. John's able to pick up that draft. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's going to be now a lap down. He might get it. Let's see. Devin Butchno and Eddie Morris trying to make this gap as big as possible. The gap between Trey Spears and Brad Young has opened up to 8.1, 8.2 seconds now. They are sitting about 7 miles an hour slower, 10 miles an hour slower now between that front group and them. They just hit 200 going into turn number 3. We're now at a 9-second gap. Here's our lead cars going to the inside of Charles Balance. Adam St. John is next, currently running in 9th, and this is our 5th place driver. In 6th place, Trey Spears and Travis Bennett, followed up by Josh Hall and Dalton Gibson. I can tell you with certainty that these drivers want to see a caution. Well, the rest of the field wants to see a caution, not these front drivers. They're fine with this. They will dictate who goes down pit road when. But this gap just keeps getting bigger between Trey Spears and Brad Young. We're now at 11.5 seconds. We have got 29 laps left to the end of this race. We've got 27 laps left to go. Pit road is open. That fuel window is probably open as well now. These guys may just try to run it dry. Sometimes cautions are caused by pit stops. So while possible, maybe these guys are trying to run it dry to pit to about 10 laps left to go, 15 laps left to go, top up on fuel, get as big of a gap as they can between Trey Spears and them. We're watching our leaders right now: Eddie Morris, Devin Butchno, Joe Wright, and Brad Young. Trey Spears and Travis Bennett have picked up the number 52 of Adam St. John. They're still about 5-6 miles an hour off pace. Josh Hall now down to a 7.3 second gap between Travis Bennett and himself. This gap's going to keep getting bigger as long as Dalton Gibson is running that far off of him. Head back up to our leaders here. Let's see what they do for pit strategy. Here they go down pit road. Brad Young doesn't quite know when they were going to go. Everyone makes it. Let's see who else comes down pit road now. Everyone's coming. Here comes Travis Bennett. Trey Spears and Adam St. John. Josh Hall stays out with Dalton Gibson. Team Neon is off. Brad Young in the middle of them. Trey Spears misses his pit stall, has to back up. Josh Hall down on pit road now. Brad Young did get a black flag on that pit stop, so he's going to have to go back down pit road. Not sure if it was for speeding or unsafe pit exit. Which leaves Team Neon up front all by themselves. The next driver in line for them right now is Josh Hall, who's coming off of pit road. But Travis Bennett goes around Trey Spears and Ryan Gomes back out on track. He has fixed all of his damage. We know that the only way that Trey Spears moves on is if he wins the race. Ryan Gomes did say earlier he's going to be here to help his teammates, so he came out with his teammates after they pit. Trey Spears is one of his teammates, so they're going to try to get this gap closed. Now it's 3 cars on 3, but Travis Bennett, Trey Spears, and Ryan Gomes have got to glue themselves to each other's bumpers, and they've got to make this work somehow. They are currently 3 to 4 miles an hour off pace from these front cars, and that gap is still extending. The gap currently between Joseph Wright and Travis Bennett is 19.2 seconds, and it is getting bigger as we go. This gap between these drivers, if you look at the difference between the way Travis Bennett, Trey Spears, and Ryan Gomes are racing, look at this gap as they pass by. Trey Spears is back on his bumper now, but we've got to watch the swiping left and right stuff, or that's going to cause another incident. But let's head back up to our leaders, who aren't doing much better right now either, but they've got speed for some reason. That gap has stopped getting as big. It's now 19.8 seconds. But you can see as they come down the straightaway how close these cars are together. This is how you need to race. The third car can't be touching the second car, but that gap has got to be closed. That third car is actually the control car for speed. If that third car doesn't exist, a 2-car line really doesn't work that well. If you have 3 cars, though, the third car is the control car for how fast you're going to go. These guys are going 192 miles an hour through the trial. Well, Travis Bennett right now is 186 miles an hour going through the corner here. We're up to a 20.5 second gap between Travis Bennett and Joe Wright, and that gap again is just getting bigger. We're under 20 laps to go now. Travis Bennett drops up or goes up the line, heading up to get behind Adam St. John, who is again a couple laps down here. But these guys want to make this work together. So it's Trey Spears, Ryan Gomes, Adam St. John. All 3 of them are on a team together. They want to try to get Trey Spears up to this lead pack, with Travis Bennett as the 4th car. The 3rd car is the one that matters the most. A 4-car field is definitely better than 3, but sometimes that 4th car can slow you guys down. For the first time since that incident between Travis Bennett and Josh Hall, I'm seeing this gap finally go down. Adam, if you're listening, bud, we got to stay in line as close as we can to Ryan Gomes as possible if you have any chance of catching this lead pack. I don't think you have enough time. There's only 17 laps left in this race. You'd have to close a second a lap for you guys to be, if not a little bit more, a second per lap to get back up to those lead cars. Our leader, Eddie Morris, Devin Butchino, Joe Wright, all Team Neon right now for our lead group. I think we've run out of time unless something significant happens on track. I don't think you're going to make it. Here's our leaders going to go by us right now. And let's see how long it takes for our 2nd place driver, or 4th place driver, I should say, of Trey Spears to get up here. This is going to be the number 41 of Charles Balance. And this 2nd group right here, this is going to be our 4th place driver of Trey Spears. We've got a significant gap there. $15 laps to go. These guys just need to hang on. Just keep doing what they're doing because it's working. Josh Hall, haven't talked about him much tonight. He's in 6th place currently with Brad Young behind him. The gap between Josh Hall and Travis Bennett right now is 13.4 seconds. Hovering around there, going up a little bit, going down a little bit. Travis Bennett is behind this pack. Trey Spears, Ryan Gomes, and Adam St. John all on the same team. Again, their goal is to get Trey Spears to win this race. I don't know if that will work or not. At this rate, I don't think it will. We're at a 21-second gap, and there's only 14 laps remaining. Unless there's an incident on track, there does not look like Trey Spears is going to be able to get there. These Team Neon drivers are just making this work. Dalton Gibson and Ethan Horst trying to latch on to the back of this group here. Let's see if they're able to. These drivers 200 miles an hour into turn 3. And you saw how close Joe was to Devin's bumper. Let's see if we can go to Joe's bumper. That'd be interesting. Let's see how close they get. You don't really want to be the pusher on the third line, or you don't want to really be pushing here. But you want to stay as close as you can. $195, $196, $7. Now let's go back to Ryan Gomes, who is behind Trey Spears right now, and see how close this gap is. You see there's a pretty big difference between those two cars. If we look at Devin Butchno, though, as soon as they come off the corner, he's going to be right back on Eddie's bumper. They're not going to want to take any chances right now. Big shove from Devin and Joe. 197 miles an hour into turn 3. As much as Dalton Gibson wanted to latch onto this group, not quite enough to make it. We've got 10 laps left to go. Our leaders have just checked out. We're now up to a 24-second gap between Joseph Wright and Trey Spears. I think Neon's going to sweep the weekend, or sweep the week for sure. Unless something crazy happens. These guys once again played this race really well. Josh Hall with Brad Young, Charles Balance, and Carlton Charles in that number 7 car. This 4 group of cars is currently 17.5 seconds back from Travis Bennett. They're running about the same speed as the group in front of them. Just a little bit slower. And our lead cars here, again, just checking out. 25 seconds now. Go through our running order right now. Right now is Eddie Morris in the lead with Devin Butchino running in second. And third place in the 82 car, Joseph Wright. This is the cars we're watching right now. Trey Spears currently in fourth. Travis Bennett, Josh Hall, and Travis Bennett running in this group. Now Travis Bennett is currently running third in this line behind Ryan Gomes. Ryan Gomes, Trey Spears, and Adam St. John in the back of this group are all teammates. In order for Trey Spears to advance to the round of 8, he would have to win this race. Josh Hall is currently our 6th place driver. Brad Young is our 7th place driver, following behind Josh Hall. And behind them, Carlton Charles, which is at the back of this group. In between Brad Young and Carlton Charles is Charles Balance, who's running currently 12th place. He's 13 laps down currently. He's been involved in a few incidents, unfortunately. Running in 10th place is actually Adam St. John. So Adam St. John is with this group up here. This is the second group of cars. Adam St. John, again, 10th place, and he's 2 laps down right now. Ethan Horst, the number 15 car that we've seen a few times tonight, has some damage on his vehicle, not able to really maintain pace. He's running about 175 miles an hour, which is 15 to 20 miles an hour off the pace speed. Ryan Gomes, our last place driver right now, is in this group here trying to get Trey Spears up to the front. He is 50 laps down, involved in a couple of wrecks, came back out on track after that last round of pit stops to see if he could help Trey Spears and his other teammate, Adam St. John, to get Trey Spears back up to this group, or to the lead group. Right now, this group is running the fastest speeds right now at 195 miles an hour, about 7 to 8 miles an hour faster than our lead group. We're at 24.3 seconds between fourth place Trey Spears and our 3rd place driver of Joe Wright. There's 5 laps left to go in this race. It's not going to close that gap unless something significant happens. I imagine these guys are going to change up their running order here for just a second, or for a minute. Devin Butchino actually lives in Florida right now, going through a hurricane. So he's getting some rain bands and stuff towards his house, but able to maintain a pretty good pace despite that. Not only that, but still staying connected. So the internet is strong out there in Florida. Again, Devin Butchino is locked in, as we see here on the points screen. Devin Butchino is locked into this race, or into the round of 8. Eddie Morris in 2nd, and Joseph Wright is in 4th place. I imagine what's going to happen is Devin Butchino, with 1 or 2 laps to go, will fall back to 3rd place and let Joseph Wright, who needs the points the most, take over that 2nd place position. If that doesn't happen, that's Team Neon. But Team Neon is catching Josh Hall in this group here. Josh Hall, Brad Young, Charles Balance, and Carlton Charles. They're not far behind, as we see here. They're coming through the tri-oval now. They are running about 7 miles an hour faster than that group in front of them. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference. We're down to a 23.8 second gap between Trey Spears and Joseph Wright. So they are bringing that gap down, but it may be a little too late. Too late, I should say. It's not maybe, it is too late. We've only got 3 laps left in this race. These guys kind of spread out a little bit now. 2 laps to go. Let's head back to Trey Spears here real quick. Trey Spears and Travis Bennett are racing for position. We're going to get 1 to go this time by. You see Joe Wright trying to peek around Devin Butchno here. This is our white flag lap. Let's see what these guys do towards the line. Let's see if they start racing just for bragging rights, I guess it would be at this point. All 3 of them will advance. Devin's going to be locked in just because he's already won last week's race. But this will lock Eddie, and let's see if Joe makes a move coming off of 4 here. No moves made here. Neon's going to take it across the line 1, 2, and 3. Head over to Trey Spears' team here. We are coming out of turn 4 right now. Travis Bennett on the outside making a run towards Trey Spears. His teammate Ryan Gomes on the inside. Let's see if Travis is able to make that gap close. He comes down to his teammate. Not able to make it. Travis Bennett going to be coming home in 5th place. Trey Spears will be in 4th place. Josh Hall, our next driver to cross the line, fighting or battling it out with Brad Young for 6th place. Let's see if Brad Young is able to get a draft and get a pull around him. Doesn't look like he's going to make it. Josh Hall is going to take home 6th place. Brad Young's going to be in 7th place. Carlton Charles is our next driver to cross the line. And everyone has crossed the line here. So our winner tonight, Eddie Morris, Devin Butchno, they're playing little games here on the line with Joe Wright coming home in 3rd. And that will be our finishing order tonight. Eddie Morris, 1st place, Devin Butchno, 2nd place, and Joe Wright in 3rd place. While we wait for these drivers to get up here, we will be right back. All right, our drivers have made it down to the waiting room. Let's pull up our third place driver tonight, Joseph Wright. Joseph, this is David up in the booth. You got me?
Yep, got you.
Hey, but another dominating performance here by Neon Racing, taking it home 1, 2, 3 again for the second night in a row. Looked like the same strategy was played out, played it well, and you guys were able to take it home. Kind of run us through the night for you.
Yeah, I mean, once we broke away from those guys mid that second fuel run, it was just all a neon show, I'd imagine. Some frustration, obviously, with the rest of the field, I would imagine, but man, we executed. We came here to do what we do, and we did it, and it worked out.
Yeah, during that last run there, throughout the entire run, you guys were 4 to 5 miles an hour faster than anybody else out on track. If you looked at the gaps, we've talked about how aerodynamics work on these cars and how that third car in line really does make a difference and how fast that group can go. When Brad Young was in that third place, you guys kind of weren't held back too much, but after that, and you guys kind of separated from him after that pit stop, that gap just kept increasing the entire time.
Yeah, we just we needed to stay as tight as we could, and we were able to do that. It takes practice. Me and Eddie and Dev were in here early in the practice, doing some pushing, figuring some things out, and it takes time to perfect that stuff. There's guys in here obviously who put in the time, but obviously not on super speedways.
Absolutely. Bristol coming up next in the round of 8. You're going to be moving on to that round. What's your thought process on how that's going to work out?
Short track racing. Let's see what happens.
Well, with the smaller field, it might be okay.
It can't be any worse than the cautions at the beginning of this thing. I'll tell you what. There was some pretty ignorant stuff going on early on in this race. So
it was definitely interesting to watch. Well, yeah. Joe, again, congratulations on Neon taking it 1, 2, 3 in third place for you tonight. Moving on to the round of 8. Before I get you out of here, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, shout out to Morris Customs with the paint job Super Bowl series. I forgot to mention him last night. Dev Sports Cards for sponsoring the series. Neon Racing, like always. Congrats to Eddie on the W. Devin, stop being such a vagina and get out there and try to pass him at the end.
All right. Joe, thanks for dropping by tonight. You have a good rest of your evening.
Goodbye.
That was our third place driver, Joe Wright. Let's bring down our second place driver, Devin Butchino. You got me?
I got you, brother.
Devin. So Neon taking it home 1, 2, 3 again. Obviously, the R&D on Eddie's technical setup worked out well tonight. You guys were able to take it home and get that gap between you and Trey Spears and Travis Bennett up to 23.5 seconds after that pit stop. Kind of run us through how the evening strategy went.
Yeah, me and Eddie got caught up in, I think, all 3 of the wrecks that happened in the first 15 laps. So that set us back. We are sweating that first stage, trying to either stay in front of the leaders or race Trey and get that lucky dog. And thankfully it worked out to where we beat the leader to the line and Trey got the lucky dog anyway. But from there, we just tried to link up and just drive away. I don't remember what lap it was, but they were behind us. Me, Joe, and Eddie had linked up, and it just out of nowhere, we kind of took off and kind of set the tone for the rest of the race. I know it can be frustrating as a Dega race, but with a small car count, we were a little limited. So may not have been the best show, but happy that me and Joe and Eddie were able to execute.
Absolutely. And after that last pit stop, when you guys got separated from Brad Young, he definitely tried to just latch onto your group. You guys were able to take that and just run with it. He wasn't in the middle of that group anymore. Not saying anything bad about it, just that you guys, when you 3 are linked together and bumper to bumper, you guys are 4 to 5 miles an hour faster than everybody else on track consistently. So, once that happened, you guys just kind of took it off.
Yeah, a lot of years of racing with this same group. You know that you've been out here with us before.
Mm-hmm.
It's their bread and butter. I will never say it's my bread and butter because I'm not good at this, even though I think at the end of the stage was the best I've ever held the car straight in front of Eddie and didn't look in my mirror. So still working on that, but felt really good to push. Me and Eddie hit 200 a couple times into turn 3, so we were definitely cooking.
Absolutely. Well, Devin, again, congratulations on Team Neon bringing it home, place P1, 2, and 3 again, second night in a row. And congratulations on your second place. Before I get you out of here, anybody else you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank you for broadcasting, man. Just want to shout out Dev Sports Cards, Morris Customs, Level Up Subs, New Craft Fine Jewelry and Design, my girlfriend Kaylee, both my parents. They all tune into this. So BTA, Blue Team Alpha, on the truck side for sponsoring, everyone for continuing to race, support the SCSRA, show up and do their thing. So just a lot of people make this go round, and appreciate every one of them for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Devin, thanks for dropping by tonight. You have a good rest of your evening, sir.
You too, brother. Thank you.
No problem. And that was our second place driver. Let's bring down our winner, Eddie Morris. This is Dave in the booth. You got me?
What's up, buddy?
What's going on, bud? So kind of run us through like how this worked out for you taking home the win. You guys kind of separated on that. I don't know how it really happened. You guys just kind of took off from the group and never looked back.
Well, we kind of just like, we're going vroom, vroom, vroom. And then we look back and they weren't going, but like maybe vroom. And then we were like, we got to go vroom, vroom, vroom. So we went vroom, vroom, vroom. And we were gone. That's how that pretty much went.
Yeah, it definitely worked out. 23.5 second gap between Trey Spears and Joe Wright. So you guys checked out. Brad Young in the middle of that, you guys kind of, before that last pit stop, there was a little bit of separation. You guys weren't able to take that gap nearly as far as you were to after him. Not saying anything bad about it, just that you guys have worked together for so long, so well, that your fastest lap for this race was 2 seconds faster than the next person. It's absolutely insane to watch.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen those boys back there racing, man, and that you got to pick and choose when to go by people, especially with the car count like this. You know, it's hard to run 2 lanes, so kind of almost have to island hop and use that side draft. But yeah, we seen them going side by side, man, and we knew we had to dig in if we wanted to have any kind of separation there. So.
Well, it definitely worked out in y'all's favor. Want to congratulate you guys on 1, 2, and 3, two nights in a row. Team Neon putting on a dominating performance this week. We got Bristol next week, both trucks and NextGen. I know you said you've already been practicing. It's your favorite track. With a car count like this, are you expecting a lot of incidents still, or what's the outlook for next week?
To be honest with you, I didn't really expect that many tonight with the car count. So I don't really know what to expect next week. I mean, it is short track racing. It's Bristol, baby.
It's Bristol, baby.
But yeah, I mean, it's short track racing at the end of the day. I think you can have a ton of cautions with 10 people. You can have a ton of cautions with 40 people. It just depends on how the driver, takes on the week. If they know they're not that great there, maybe they should do some laps. And if they're feeling pretty good about it, then hopefully they won't cause a caution. I can't say much. I've caused cautions too, so
it happens to the best of us.
It happens. It definitely does. It definitely does. So don't take that the wrong way. But I'm just saying, if you're one of those people that are like, man, I'm not looking forward to this. I hate this. Just run in there and get some laps, bro. Like every lap you run, you'll feel better about it. So
Bristol is definitely a challenging track, especially when trying to save tires and be there for the end. I know that's Devin's kind of bread and butter, but he's already said that he's not the greatest at it, and Bristol is kind of taken a toll on him, I guess you would say. But we're out of Superspeedway weeks. We're back to short track racing, to the round of 8. Congratulations on locking yourself in. Moving on to that, you're pretty locked in on points anyways, but you were there. Again, congratulations on 1, 2, 3 for Neon and the win tonight. Before I get you out of here, anybody you want to thank?
Of course, man. Appreciate you being up here broadcasting it. So we can go back and watch it. Shout out to Dev Sports Cards, series sponsor. Shout out to Blue Team Alpha for being the series sponsor for the trucks. Shout out to Morris Customs. Find them on Facebook at Morris Customs for paints, any of that sort of thing. Shout out to my teammates, man. Like I said last night during the interview, you can't be here talking to these guys at the end of these races, getting your interviews and stuff, if you don't have teammates, you don't have those solid guys that know what they're doing, to push you. Like any 3 of us right there could have won that race.
Yeah,
easily. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good feeling when you run like that with teammates. And it's a really good day at the end when we can finish 1, 2, 3. No matter, if I was to finish 3rd, I'd have been okay with that. My teammates 1, 2, 3, being a part of that, that's awesome. So shout out to those guys. Hate D Wright missed it tonight. Hopefully we could have went 1, 2, 3, 4. And shout out to everybody that allows me to do this, man.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it from our winner, Eddie Morris. Again, thanks for dropping by tonight, and we will hopefully talk to you next week.
Oh, show.
All right, bud. Have a good night.
See you, buddy.
And that was our winner, Eddie Morris, winning for the second Team Neon, going 1, 2, 3 again in both races. Completely dominating performance from this team tonight. Kind of expected it to happen. These guys are very good at what they do. So kind of not surprising at all. But that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We will be heading to Bristol next week for the first race in the round of 8. Stay tuned Sunday night as the NSRA Sunday Shootout Series is going to wrap up their season, or wrap up their next this summer shootout series. Should be interesting to watch.